All right, good to have you with us. Episode 403 of the Anik and Florian podcast, and I'm so happy to be joined by this man. Mixed martial arts fanatic, but Major League Baseball legend. And if you grew up a Boston Red Sox fan, this guy made you cry in your Cheerios a whole lot. MVP of the 2005 Cape Cod League, three-time Major League Baseball All-Star, Rookie of the Year back in 2008, three-time Gold Glove winner, maybe future Hall of Famer if I have anything to say about it. Evan Longoria, it's good to see you, my brother. Welcome to South Florida.
Thank you so much, man. This is, not South Florida, Central Florida was my home for quite a while. So
Right.
It's always good to be back. My wife's family is from this area. So, part of it feels like home, and I appreciate the introduction. You must have dug deep, man. You found the 2005 Cape Cod League MVP. Wow.
Well, I got a buddy who has a summer house in Chatham, and of course you play for the Chatham A's, and I actually think at some point during that summer of 05, I was actually in Chatham. I can't say I was at a Cape Cod League game, but yeah, I did come across that on my research. So you flew into South Florida last night, and you play the Marlins, I guess, beginning tomorrow. So you got an off day today. Pretty good, right?
We do, yeah. My wife and I are going to go to the casino, so that's kind of our thing to do together.
So we were sort of joking over text that we're both avid slot players. When I lived in Las Vegas, I would go to the dirtiest fucking casino I could find and just play slots. Maybe not high limit slots like you, but you and your wife like the slots, huh?
Yeah, well, I like it a little bit more. She's a poker player, but I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I got a crazy addiction to it that probably needs remedied pretty soon.
Huh. So I have a lot of baseball stuff that I want to get into, of course, and you were really a guy for a lot of us who are American League East fans that we put on a pedestal, and you deserve to be on that pedestal. I mentioned the great career numbers against the Boston Red Sox, but we connected largely because you are a rabid MMA fan, and you texted me recently you were watching UFC 6 on UFC Fight Pass. You were doing the deep dive, but I got to ask, you're younger than me, born in 1985, but when do you recall watching the UFC for the first time, and when did you sort of become a hardcore fan?
I mean, I feel like the casual fan really started to become an MMA fan with Conor McGregor, at least for me in my era. When Conor burst onto the scene, I feel like that was when I really started to embrace all MMA, not just, only watching Conor fights, but watching, the rest of the division, his opponents, and then, deeper into the rabbit hole I went, after that. So probably, Conor just got 10 years, I think he said. He just posted he's 10 years in MMA, 10 years in the UFC. Right. So, I guess 10 years it doesn't seem like that, but, it's been fun, man. The growth of the UFC has been exponential. Obviously love to see it. And, I've been to probably over the last 3 or 4 years, at least, 2 shows a year I try to get to. So it's been fun.
Yeah, you're right. April 6th, 2013, Conor McGregor made his UFC debut. So just about 10 years and a week. So it's funny because when I read about you and I read about scouts talking about you as a young kid and the way the baseball just ripped off the bat and your hand-eye coordination, I can't help but think in this era of celebrity fights. I mean, at what point are we going to see you start to throw hands, man? We were putting together a tale of the tape. BJ Upton, Evan Longoria for charity. I think it would make a lot of money.
No, BJ's one of my good friends, man. I love BJ, but what's funny is I train with Brandon Harris. I think we've talked about this a little bit. Brandon Harris is Sean O'Malley's trainer, strength and conditioning trainer, and he also trains Scott Holtzman and a couple other guys. He's got Bryce Meredith. Bryce Meredith. Right?
Maybe Bryce. Okay, yeah. Bryce Mitchell. I don't know.
Bryce Meredith is a Bellator guy. Just fought his first fight in Bellator last 2 weeks ago. Anyways, and I put the gloves on in there, and I try and throw hands and kicks and stuff, and it's exhausting, man. Like after I did that the first time, like the respect that I had. For the ability to go, 30 seconds in a round, and I'm not even worried about getting kicked or punched. Whole new level of respect for those guys.
I did a tough man competition once when I was pledging a fraternity, and it was 3 3-minute rounds, and it was the most exhausting physical initiative of my entire life. And it was 9 minutes with 3 minutes of break time. So I feel you on that. And I joke about BJ Upton because you guys had a dust up way back when, I think probably 13 years ago, when you kind of thought he wasn't going as hard as he could in center field after a ball in the gap. And the leader that you were rocking the mullet at that point of your career, and you kind of walked over to BJ. What do you remember about that dust up?
It was kind of a long time coming. And I just happened to have to be the bad guy in that moment. And I felt like, everybody, weirdly, I mean, I was really close with BJ. So it was just one of those things where everybody was kind of looking around saying, pointing out the elephant in the room, like, dude, are we going to let him do this again and again and again? And you know what? As I look back now, BJ was probably running hard. He just ran really easy, and it just made it look like he wasn't running hard.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, I had to be that guy in that moment where I kind of called him out, and he didn't appreciate that. I did it during the game and in front of everybody, and words were exchanged, but that was it. I mean, that was pretty much the end of it after the game.
So you're in your 16th Major League Baseball season. You live in Arizona, and what a great thing for you and your family that you were able to sign a 1-year deal with the Arizona Diamondbacks after spending a few years with the San Francisco Giants. I'd imagine you would have had a lot of suitors. It sounds like this was very much your choice, but you aren't playing every day necessarily right now. There are plenty of clubs that would employ you as a starting third baseman every single goddamn day. So what led to that decision to play at home and sign that 1-year deal?
Mainly that, playing at home, that was first and foremost. We had a couple of other teams that we were pretty deeply involved with, but they just, the fit was perfect. And I told my wife because I'll be honest with you, I was 60-40 at the beginning of the year on whether I was going to play or not, and 60% being not. And I just said, if we're going to do this, like I've been in San Francisco for 5 years now. It's been like a lonely 5 years, to be honest with you. Like my family was in Arizona for most of the time. I'm spending the time on the road alone. And I, at the end of it, I was just like, man, do I really want to do this anymore? Like it's just becoming more of a job than fun. Like I played this game for a long time and I enjoyed every minute of it. And now it just seems like it's becoming so tedious to do this every day. And so, I said, the opportunity has to be right. We have to make this kind of a family thing, because it feels like, when it's like that, it's more enjoyable for me. To not be able to see them. And we have a 1-year-old now. We have a 10, 8, and 1. And so, I've missed basically all of, not all, but, a lot of milestones for my kids over those years. And so with this 1-year-old, I just kind of said, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be able to, obviously we'll be on the road a little bit, but I want to be able to catch those milestones at home. And so this was, just a perfect fit for us.
Evan Longoria with us here on the Anik and Florian podcast. 3rd overall pick by the Tampa Bay, then Devil Rays, I believe, in the 2006 Major League Baseball draft. Actually, maybe it was the Rays by then. But it's a tremendous career, and our executive producer, Cody Merrow, huge baseball fan growing up in New Hampshire. We were talking off the air. For about a half a decade, you were the standard. You were the best third baseman in baseball. You were an all-star your first 3 years in the league, rookie of the year. Here you are, year number 16, 333 career home runs, coming up on 2,000 career hits. I got to imagine overall, and I'm sure you're your harshest critic, but how do you feel overall about your Major League Baseball body of work as you enter the final year or two of your career?
Sorry, you cut in and out there for a second, but I will say this: I'm super grateful, obviously, as I have more time to kind of reflect on my career. To be able to do this for so long has been a true joy. And obviously, like now it's more, I don't necessarily think about the personal statistics. I mean, those are always in the back of my mind, but like we were talking about a little bit before the show, it's like, I look at it now as my goal to try and take this Arizona Diamondbacks team to, well, not necessarily me, but we've got all these young guys running around that are going to, be the ones to carry us to that destination. But to be a part of that would be pretty special. I don't know if this will be my last year. I don't. I'm trying not to think about that. I'm trying to think of go day by day and just enjoy. I mean, I've had kind of the opportunity here to be put in a role where they kind of find, hopefully can find the best success for me and keep me on the field the whole year to try and have, a great year all around. So it's been great. And, again, the personal stuff, it would be cool. I mean, I do think about the Hall of Fame. I mean, this is probably the first year that I've ever thought about that, because I have, more people mentioning it. Hey, you're getting close, this number, that number. Like if you can do this, you might get there. And it's like, I've never thought about that. So I try to keep it out of my mind.